I think one thing that was most important to Rich was his role as a teacher. And when you think about it, teaching is probably the greatest form of advocating. In fact, Rich believed in advocating for the next generation and, quite honestly, in advocating for the future. He was a person who believed that an individual could have agency and that communities could have agency and that communities and people could be empowered to change the world. And Rich made a huge contribution in that direction.
Rich always had an open mind to any idea, regardless of how crazy it sounded. He was able to just work it in his mind and almost immediately realize how it needed to get tweaked one way or another to actually put it into practice. He advocated for so many structures that we at HDC used for so many years, and actually the affordable housing industry.
As somebody who is a proud HDC alum, as well as a current HDC borrower, I've certainly seen all sides of Rich. In fact, I was on the team that actually hired Rich, so you all can thank me or blame me. One of the things that stood out with Rich among the many fine candidates was how much he cared. He was not only smart and diligent, but he had the hallmarks of an HDC person who is known for being smart, creative, and caring about housing and the people of New York City above all else.
I think of Rich as the connector in chief, and it's going to take several of us to come close to what he did. Rich really spent his time talking to every single person who had expertise on anything to think of better ways of doing things. And he would connect those people with other people, and he would connect those people with us in the agency, and really, really pushed us forward. I say he was the ultimate connector in chief.
I think when someone is as big a personality as Rich was, it's easy for a lot of us to forget that there is a kid inside. And anyone who knew Rich knew that he would oftentimes show us photos of himself as a kid in band or in chorus or on social media. In fact, my phone, when it rings, is a picture of Rich in band as a kid that he had sent to me and shared with me, because it was both sweet and kind of funny, honestly. But I think what Rich was saying to people in those moments was, look a little further.
Rich and I collaborated on the NYSAPA game show. It was always the highlight of the conference. We were given a very late slot to cover very boring material, so we really tried hard to make it fun. So Rich was an integral part of hosting that, and it always ended with Rich banging a ceremonial gong that he had. And Rich, I hope somewhere you are banging that gong for us today.
Rich would come into my office and say, "Hey, Toots." It sounds like such a simple greeting, but it came with such warmth. I knew we were in for a couple of things: a deep conversation, whether it was personal or business, but also I knew we were in for a little gossip. I miss him dearly. Rich was a colleague, a friend, and for us at HDC, he was family.
He has mentored so many of us. He's taught many of us. He has been the one that you can count on to find the answer to a problem. A problem was a challenge. It wasn't a problem. And he reveled in solving all of our challenges, whether it's creating this housing plan with the mayor, or the one in the Bloomberg, or the one before that, right? Rich was there. He was always there. And it's astonishing that we have to go on without him. Somebody else has to try to fill those shoes.
Rich and I would walk to and from work together oftentimes. And I was kind of reflecting on that recently. And I think one of the things that was really touching about Rich and really important in getting to know him is that he was a person who realized that at the end of the day, we are all just walking each other home. And to him, that piece of the world, that advocacy, that teaching, that seeing more deeply into a situation, and how he brought that to community development and to housing in New York City is absolutely a critical piece of my experience of Rich that I will cherish for a long time.